Hi guys, Chart Guy Charlie doing another video, this time on BLNK. I think this is going to be a really good one to demonstrate support and resistance levels, trend line breaks, multiple time frames, all the kind of stuff you guys should be thinking about. Specifically where to get into a stock, where to maybe get out of a stock, where to put stops, and basically taking a look at what we think the stock might be doing, where it might be going. As always, we can't predict the future. We're just looking at past performance and trying to use our skills and knowledge of charts to predict where a stock might be traveling to, where we might want to get into it, not get into it, if we choose not to get into it, where we might get out of it if we're in it already. So that's what we're doing. And I think this stock will really be a good one to analyze. So as you can see, I have a bunch of lines on here already just to help get started. But anytime you look at a chart, always start with a larger time frame whenever you're analyzing it. If you just generally look at this one, you can see, judging, if I was to draw a line along the bottom here to where we're at now. Of course, we're off of this area here, but where we're at now is where I want to draw the line. And if we were to go across the tops, we see we are clearly in a long-term uptrend, even though we have a pullback in place. Okay, that's just generally speaking, just to get an overview. If you look at the history of the stock, where it began to break out was here. We put in a nice high, nice move up here, beautiful cup with a little handle here, breakout, ideal place to buy, nice move up, ideal place to get out in here or in here. If you stayed with it through this consolidation, hoping that this consolidation through time could have proven a new uptrend, it's very possible it could have, but I would have put a stop on it if it were me. And let's talk about that now. So you'll notice from this high we had a pivot down to here, and then it moved, consolidated this way. We had another drop and it found support in the same spot. That's important. Tried to break out. We ran into some trouble, and on this particular day right here, it broke that support line right there, 10 bucks. And that was trouble. That's where you definitely would want to sell if it broke $10. So we put in 3 more really steep days after that before we found support. So where did we find support? Not surprisingly, right back over here at this prior pivot right there. There's where we caught support again on that pullback. So let's analyze the drop itself, the trend down now, and see where we're at going forward here. So you'll see when this downward move started, right here is where I started my my red trend line down. You can see I've cut through it here on the long term, but actually when you go to the smaller time frame, it doesn't look that way unless the line moved on me somehow. But in any case, this was the support line break right here, and so on that day, 1, 2, 3, 4 days down, this particular day, very high volume. The stock, at one point, this candle was all red, and then came up and finished up near its high. Nice bottoming tail. I would have thought that capitulation might have been the end of it. We put in one more day after that, one more down day, but it did not hit the 642 line. And then the day after that was quite significant because it broke the downward trend line right here. That's important. Now the 642 is an important line to hold. And below it, if it was to break, I drew just for the sake of having it on here, at $5.06 would be the other prior pivot here that you definitely would not want to break. You can see where that is over here. So don't really want to break this, really don't want to break that. And then we're at the 200-day average. So we're getting down into deep territory here on a pullback. Okay, so we're going to get a little bit closer here and talk about these last few days before I move into a smaller time frame. Just to analyze the volume a little bit more and talk about this little mini downtrend. So after we had this trend break, this was important, broke the trend line and closed up near the high of the day. It tried to put in a follow-through day, but it opened higher, but closed lower. Bit of a doji bar there. Still no sign of trouble, but this wasn't great that we went back that way and didn't go this way instead, but still okay. A nice retracement, actually. Would have been nice if today we did this, but no, one more day. And the problem is we're retracing a little too deep now back to this line from where we were. And I'm going to talk about that when we move into the next smaller time frame, but suffice it to say that we're still okay, but could be better. Now, the only other thing that I want to talk about while we're on this chart here is the reduction of volume here. You like to see that. You like to see that this day that we put in the higher high and broke the trend, we did it on high volume, and all 3 days have been lower volume and descending each day as it's declined. So that is positive. So positive here and also positive there. So enough said about that. Let's drill down here and analyze what happened here on, that trend line is, as you can see, there's the 13 going down, and it catches the tops of all those points right there and ends up, actually could have probably moved this trend line down a little bit like that. So here was the first bottom at 642. We rallied up nicely to this point here. Moved back down. It sort of retested it here. It's almost like a triple bottom. Moved up a little. This is where I'm calling the second bottom. And here's the trend break. So the trend is beginning to change here. We're not in an official uptrend, but we have a definite shift. What I like about it is when we put in this high here and here, they're both higher than this high. So you've got a double bottom, retest and failure, which is good. Trend break, good. A higher high, good. And then you put in a low here, which is a higher low than here. Now, it would have been exciting if we could have done something like this and put in one more higher high. But that hasn't happened yet. We're looking for that to happen for a real confirmation. So where are we at? Well, we're at a crossroads. We're at a crossroads for tomorrow. It's going to be exciting to see what happens. We've got, as you heard me say, the positives, which I'll go over one more time. You got the double bottom, 1. You got the trend line break, 2. You got the higher highs and higher lows, 3. And we've got a pullback here going on. But the bad news is it's retraced deeper than we would like to have seen it retrace. We'd like to have seen this do a 50% retracement, which would have been around 760, right around this area here. If we could have found support there and started to move up a little, either by the end of today or by tomorrow, like it could have, if it could have ended here, that would have been ideal. You like to see a 50% retracement. 60 is okay too. We're getting down here into a little bit deeper, more than I'd like to see. So from, by retracement, I'm talking about from this high here to this low here. Okay. If we got all the way back, if tomorrow morning this opened up and bounced off of 642 again, that's 100% retracement. Okay. 100% retracement. Now, I'm not saying it wouldn't bounce off of it, but you're not going to expect it to get all the way back to this high in a day or two. It could, but it's not as likely. Is it likely to fail if it gets down in here? Not necessarily. It could be like a triple bottom, but I would not want to see it break that by more than a few cents. I would put a stop on this at 640 for sure. And you're going to kill me if it gets to 639 and takes you out and then goes back up. So, I mean, I'm just telling you my thoughts. But enough said about that. So I think I've covered the bases on this. You can decide if you're in this stock. You can decide if you want to put a stop there. I don't know how long you might have been in it, or if maybe you bought it today. I would definitely be thinking that this would be where I'd want to put a stop, though. And if you got in it here, or here, or here, or if you're thinking of buying in the morning here, or here, or here, this would be where I would put my stop. I would have this would be my level of risk, and I would have a target up in here, or higher, depending on whether you're trying to swing this or scalp it. So it's going to be exciting. We're right here at the end of this triangle, and I'm hoping that this green line holds, which is around a 70. I think this ends up being about a 70% retracement. So deeper than we wanted, but it's very possible. But this little mini uptrend will continue. I think it's more likely that this is going to continue. It may dip a little bit more and then go up. It may go up right away. It may retest this. It's possible it's going to break it. We can't predict the future. That's why we have stops to protect our accounts. Money management is the most important thing. Okay, so good luck, everybody, trading this one or any stock you're doing. I hope this analysis helps you in future stocks that you're trying to analyze. Happy trading.